Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today, we are hopping on board with ENVOY. You can see it bright bold at the very top of your screen as he and the Chicago Huntsmen go to battle against the Los Angeles Guerrillas. So, just kind of as a little bit of a precursor here before we get into some analysis, one thing that I'll say is that over the course of the 5 Hardpoints, Chicago ended up going 4-1, and I think that that's a fairly good sign for them just because LAG did seem to have a pretty good weekend at their last event. So I think the fact that they played well on this is a good sign. Not necessarily that, okay, now because they did really well in this scrim, we can say that they're one of the best teams in the game. I just think that it's a good sign that they're having continued success, right? It basically, every day that I see them scrim, I want to see them continue to do better and better just because right now I think everybody would agree that Dallas and Atlanta are the 2 teams at the top of the CDL, and I think Chicago can get close as long as they consistently play as well as they did over the last weekend, which won them their 2nd CDL championship. So with that, all of that out of the way, let's go ahead, let's talk about the actual breakdown here. So we are playing on Petrograd, and I picked this one in specifically just because we don't really cover this map very often. A lot of time it's Hackney or Gunrunner, right? Those are maps that are played all the time. Every once in a while you'll see an Azir Cave or something like that, but Petrograd just doesn't get the play that the other maps seem to get. So I wanted to make sure that we were breaking it down. A couple things that I'll say right off the get-go here is that this is just rotated back to P2, and spawns right now have just flipped. So Chicago did a nice job of, they spawned out, they were able to flip spawns. Now they have spawns for P2, and they're going to get the last 25 seconds. I know now we're down to 15, but they got that flip at 25 seconds, and they're going to get the rest of the time there. The other thing that Chicago did really well is that they were able to get 40 plus seconds, so more than 40 seconds on that first hard point. And if you're the team that spawns out, you want to make sure that you're getting as much time inside that first hard point, just so that if you're unsuccessful at flipping for P2, it doesn't hurt you all that much. So with that, let me go ahead, let's draw on the mini map just a little bit so that we can break down some things here. So as we go to the map breakdown, one thing that I really want to go over here is that Chicago got this spawn over here to start the map, right? So they sent people into P1. They were able to get 44 seconds inside P1. While that was happening, we were watching ENVOY push mid-map, go top blue, kind of work the middle of the map. And his whole goal was to get kills on the right-hand side of the map. And eventually, he wasn't the one that was able to flip them, right? He spawned over here, he rushed into mid, and then when he died, he got this back spawn over here. So he wasn't the one that forced this back spawn, but Chicago was essentially just able to push through mid-map. They were able to put pressure on P2. That became contested. They got a team wipe, and then as that happened, they got the back spawns. So not only were they able to get a lot of points inside of P1, they were also able to flip P2 and get time inside of P2. So that's why we have the lead that we have right now. Now, one thing here as we get into P3 on the opposite side of the map is that from P3, as soon as this hill is over, I really think that the beneficial side of this map is for P4, for P5, and then as it rotates from 1 to 2. So for the next 4 hills, you want to be on that right-hand side of the map. So anymore, it is nice to get into like top hazmat, come down the stairs, or even get in here and contest, but you really just want to push the enemy team, as ENVOY gets a kill on PRESTINNI there, you really just want to push the enemy team back in their spawn, right? You want to get kills right there, exactly where ENVOY was just getting kills. Let's go ahead, let's draw that also, just so that we're aware, so that we can see it on the minimap. We're 1000% what's happening. You want to be keeping this back spawn, and as this goes forward, so as you go forward here, that spawn, as you get pushed up, turns to mid-map, right? It doesn't stay all the way back there. So as you either go top hazmat, go down the stairs and get in P3, or if you go out by ambulance, go in the side door, get into P3. Either case, it doesn't really matter which one it is, but as that is happening, LAG is spawning in this back corner over here. And as they're spawning back there, you want to get kills in this cutoff, at least as many as you can. originally, when this game first kind of came out, a lot of teams were just pushing back there. They thought that, you know what, we have to get that back spawn. Let's push and let's try to get it as far back as we can. Let's own that spawn. But you don't want to do that so much anymore. If you can just go even on P3, you want to have these back spawns, because as it goes to P4, now you have the beneficial spawn. As it goes to P5, you have the beneficial side. As it goes to P1, this is kind of a wash, right? It doesn't really matter too much either way. And then as it goes to P2, this is one of the money hills on this map. So when it comes to just P3 in specific, you really don't want to push too far, because you don't want to flip out, because if you flip out of that spawn, then now all of a sudden you're not really set up all that well for the rest of the game. So right now, I mean, everything's literally going perfectly for Chicago. They were able to get the most time on P1. They were able to force a flip in P2. They were able to hold LAG back in P3. And now that it's rotated over to P4, they're set up. And not only are they set up, I won't stop it here. I'll draw on the screen while this is still going. But not only are they set up inside of P4, but they're also getting kills out here towards mid-map, right? And if you can get kills in this area of mid-map, now the enemy team isn't putting any pressure inside your hill. Now, ENVOY just died a couple times in a row, so that line that I just drew a couple seconds ago has really been pushed back, kind of back into this area. So now it's a little bit more of a contested hardpoint, right? Whereas before, if you can get all of those kills and get those trades out towards mid-map, now you're kind of set up. As we go ahead and rotate here to P5, I really like this entrance from the right-hand side of the map. And the biggest reason why is because if you're coming from mid-map, as you go through those front doors, you can get shot from the stairs, you can get shot from your right, you can get shot from your left. So there's just so many other places that you can get shot from. And that's why I think not only is it beneficial to keep those right spawns for the next few hills, but it's just easier to get in also. As I'm watching the minimap in the top left-hand side, it does look like LAG was able to flip here. So when ENVOY comes up, he's going to spawn on the left-hand side of the map, as you just saw right there. And now this is the exact same strategy as when this map started, right? So they don't have spawns. They don't have spawns for P1 or for P2 or as we move forward from there. So if you're Chicago, you have to make sure that you're getting a ton of time inside of P1 so that that can offset any time or any lead if this was a close game that LAG could build from having that back spawn for P2. So get out here. I really like that cut there from ARCITYS, being out, being pushed up. Again, that's just keeping all the pressure off of his teammates inside the hill. So I like him being pushed up. And then all of this time, if you look at the hardpoint time that's left, half of this hill on P1 is already gone, and they haven't even been contested until right now. So that was a really nice job of getting that initial time. And now I love that they're taking ENVOY, they're pushing out back, and just like that, the spawns have flipped. So they really are controlling every aspect of this game. But with that, we're already at 201 to 90. So I want to make sure that we listen into their team comms a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn up the volume. Let's listen in and hear as they talk moving forward.
I'll fold then. Another one I'll fold, I think.
One's red car.
I do. Look bottom bar,
Top blue coming. Top blue coming. Bottom bar, Nado.
I'm looking blue.
Bottom bar, not weak.
Bottom bar.
Bottom bar.
I'm holding back. Red card dead.
One side door.
Side door hurt. Another one bottom bar, back bar.
Back bar dead.
Jump. In hotel. Nade hotel. I smoked your cross. Front door. And red car. He could pinch inside probably.
So just real quick here, let me pause this just because I want to break this down for you guys, just in case you haven't watched my channel in a while. As we go back to the map here, what's happening at this current moment is that the hill is pretty contested, right? So inside P2, you have a lot of contested area going on. What's happening is Chicago is getting this bar spawn. They've had it for the last couple hills. They were able to push through halfway through P1. They flip spawn spawns, they have this. Now, as that's happening, LAG is spawning up here towards Water's Edge. So the reason why you want to have the back bar spawn is because if you're getting the spawn that LAG is getting right now, you either have to come through this choke point and go through the back door, or go mid-map and cut through this tiny alley. The problem with going mid-map is that that's like a death sentence, right? Just because if you're Chicago, you can take an AR, you can put them up top bar, you can push up, you have this head glitch on the car right here, you can push up even further, you can play top blue and kill as they try to rotate through here, which is exactly why you just saw the smoke right there. But essentially, if you have the back bar spawn, which it looks like Chicago is spawning out a little bit more, you can see Seth is rotating. So I'll show you that in a second. But if you have the back bar spawn, you can get right in. It's not contested at all. Even if you have a little bit of crossfire from mid-map, you can sneak through the back. So it's just much easier to get into P2 if you have that back bar spawn. Now, before I press play again, this is the reason why ENVOY got the spawn that he got. So if you're just kind of looking here, now I'm drawing on the actual screen. Look at Seth and look at his arrow. Scump is running this way, right? So since he's running that way, he's moving, he's trying to rotate, he's trying to get time inside of P3, because right now you don't have to worry about what's happening with the spawns in P4 and P5. If you get the spawns for P3, then you can win the game on this next hardpoint. So now you're not quite as forced to play the game quite as strategically. Get as many points as you can inside of P3, try to get kills mid-map, and if you can do that, then you can end up winning on P3. So with that, let me go ahead, let me turn it back up, let's listen back in.
Pretty sure
Yeah, there should be two in the back, I think.
Top blue to top resty.
Mid-map, dead. Top rest, you said?
It could be very back. I got time.
Okay, I'm just sitting in your closet. I'm sitting in the closet.
I'm pushed out first right now.
Top resty.
Give me your gate, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just staring window.
Come on, River 2 guys, gate is open.
They're gonna be all over river.
Got me. He's going gate. Two gate right now. Two gate.
What the fuck? Back heady. Back heady.
Back door. See elbow too. See elbow dead.
We gotta keep playing time.
You got me. Gate.
I'm out.
Okay,
Just pinch L. Pinch L.
Back door hill.
I spawn here. Good job, Seth.
Spawn behind me.
Pick it up left.
Trying it right, guys. Trying it right.
Right there, just like 5 seconds ago, you heard Scum say, I'm out. When ENVOY came up, he came up towards mid-map. Basically what that did is that just ensured that they're going to get the P4 spawn, so they're probably going to win on P4. But it was Scum that rotated a little bit early, and actually he just died right there. So there is somebody back there. They are going to have to win a gun battle in order to get P4 time and the spawns. Let's see what happens.
Side door dead. Oh, I got naded.
Oh my god,
You're good.
I think
Formal with another team kill
River, one
there.
River. I spawn court.
mid tracks.
Another one. 2 more tracks.
I get road cross.
Absolute tracks in
ENVOY
front.
is so
Tracks in front.
nasty.
Oh, top blue.
I was like a map though.
ENVOY just makes everything look so easy, and like those kills there towards the end, I don't want to say that they're hard kills, but he just makes it look so easy, right? He just puts the cursor on the body, he just doesn't miss a shot, gets that kill, slide cancels around the corner, puts the cursor on the body, gets another kill. It just looks so easy, right? It looks like how Call of Duty is supposed to look. And that whole time we didn't really even talk about that ENVOY was 27 and 25, nice map, but look at the map from the Twins. PRESTINNI was 29 and 17, ARCITYS 27 and 18. Really, everybody had a good map. Scump was 14 and 19, but he was doing a lot of the rotating as we saw throughout that. So with that, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I put out brand new videos like this one every single day. If you have any comments whatsoever, make sure you put them down below. I love reading through your comments and I love the interactions. Leave a like before you head on the way. It really helps out the channel. And with that, thank you guys so much. I will catch you in tomorrow's upload.